Hi everybody, I'm Tabatha Smith, founder of Quilt Queens and owner of Camellia Palms Retreat Center. I'm going to walk you through a little brief video today of how I prepare for a sew along, some tips and tricks. I am sewing with a group of friends today for the Quilts of Valor National Block Drive, and I am pre-prepping before we start our live sit and sew. So I need some blocks, and so I've started prepping them here. You can see this is my block laid out. I love these little foam boards. So I needed a couple of more of these blue ones, so I'm gonna just trim that up real quick. My goal is to make 20 blocks in the 3 hours that I'm sewing with my friends so that I can gift them to the Quilts of Valor Foundation, which, you know, if you don't know about Quilts of Valor, they present quilts to veterans. This is their 21st year in doing that. And you know the veterans greatly appreciate their quilts. They do a big presentation for them. It's really very inspiring. And if you never sewed a quilt for a veteran or attended one of these presentations, I highly recommend it. I dug into my red, white, and blue scraps to do this block. So as you can see, I'm cobbling it together from my scraps, but it all works. And that's all I needed of the blue. I need a couple more reds, so I'm gonna cut a strip of that. And for these blocks, their block for this year is called Echo. And it's a very simple log cabin variation, I would say. The reason I'm doing this is because I want to be able to sit and sew with my friends without having to stop and cut more pieces. My goal is to do 20 blocks, so I'm going to get them all pre-cut like this, laid out. And all I have to do is sit and sew them and press them. So come along with me today and see if I can accomplish 20 blocks in 3 hours. So to make my process easier when I'm doing a sit and sew, I like to have a block board, and this is just a square piece of foam board that your kids could use for science fair projects. That's the type of thing you find in the section at the store. And I have got it covered in batting, and it's got a little binding on it. So I've got my white pieces, and these are my 5.5-inch center squares. Then I've got my blue corner pieces, and I've got all my red corner pieces. And now I'm ready to sew this block, which y'all sew them in units. These two, the whole unit across. These two go this way. Easy peasy, streamlines the process so you're not having to, hunt things down while you're sewing. You can spend more time actually sewing once you start. So another time saving thing is once you've got the amount of block pieces that you need and you know what you want and you're getting ready to sew, it can be very helpful, fast and easy to chain piece these units here, so I like to just stack them up in front of my sewing machine. Always double check to make sure you got the right side, but this will make the piecing so much faster because, sewing with my friends, there's a lot of chatting, maybe not as much piecing, but we're gonna do our best. So I'll stack the blues like that, I'll stack the reds like that, so I'll have a stack of reds to sew together, and then it's just a whole assembly line, so the reds will go together like that. And then these bigger pieces, they go together like this. So I'll stack all those up, so I'll have a nice little stack ready to just feed into the machine. And then I'll use my favorite little notion here that cuts the chain pieces apart, makes it super fast, no scissors needed. You just pop them in there. It's great because it uses your used rotary blades. Then once I've got all the pieces pieced together, I'll press them all and then sew the units together to make the blocks. So 2 hours and 45 minutes later, I had 20 blocks and a panel with borders all ready, pieced and put together, ready to quilt and send off to Quilts of Valor.